Okay, this is chapter 7, which is on memory and study skills. There are 3 different types of memory. One is sensory, one is short-term, and of course the other is long-term. So your sensory memory takes an exact kind of picture or captures what you see. It's a direct copy of what you see, so it doesn't last very long. And then you have short-term memory, which is also temporary, but it lasts for about 30 seconds. And that is almost like when you are given a number and 30 seconds later you can remember it, or you can remember exactly what was told to you. But ask me an hour or two later and I would really have to think hard, or it would be hard for me to remember unless I had some other prompt to remember it. It's unstable, so it can't hold much, your short-term memory. Long-term memory works in 3 ways, or there are 3 parts to it, and it's limitless. Research has shown that long-term memory goes on and on. So you have procedural, which is your how-to long-term memory, and that deals with things like riding a bike, learning how to do those long-term things that you just know how to do. You've learned how to do them and you just remember them. Declarative is learning formulas. And so with those things, when you learn them, if you don't use it, you will lose it. So it's in the declarative memory area and you can lose it if you don't use it. Episodic is using information regularly to engage with it. So when you do that, you're remembering it as well. So things that you do for a specific episode or at a specific time. So how do you study? I love this quote here by Albert Einstein that says, "Any man who can drive safely while kissing a pretty girl is simply not giving the kiss the attention it deserves." So just like this person not giving that kiss it deserves, are you giving your study habits or your study time, your studying time, the time that it deserves? So you've got to be able to really deeply answer these what we call journalist questions: when, where, who, what, why, and how. Those are questions that you should be asking yourself as you're studying. And you've got to be able to find the time to be able to invest in order to deeply answer those kinds of questions while you're studying. And find the best time for you to study. We've talked about that already. And then multiple short sessions. Make sure that you work in short sessions or multiple short sessions instead of long sessions or long periods of studying. You should study up to 2 to 3 hours per class, per 3-credit class. So if you have a 3-credit class, you should be studying 2 to 3 hours per week for that class at least. Eliminate your distractions. We talked about distractors that you have, either internal or external distractors. Make sure that you identify what they are and that you do not allow them to distract you, and that you know what the important signposts are, that you can predict kind of what things will happen that might distract you in the near future. Let's talk about study groups. Study groups are good and beneficial in many, many ways. One of the greatest benefits of a study group is the fact that it makes you accountable to someone for your information and for what you're doing in your classes. It also helps those who have the verbal and kinesthetic learning abilities, learning styles rather, to exercise those capabilities. So you're able to engage with others, and 2 heads are better than 1. When you can hear someone else express something in a different way, or if they see something from a different perspective, it challenges your learning, or it challenges the way you see things. But you should limit your study groups to no more than 5 people, or limit them to about 5 people. Because you do have people who are hitchhikers, meaning they just are going along for the ride. They're not going to do any work. They're not going to contribute in any really beneficial way or significant way. Those are what we call hitchhikers, and they need to be ejected from your study group. And then lastly, plan and organize your sessions and what you're going to do before they occur. Study strategies. Well, you can put things to music. It helps you to remember things. You think about little kids and how they have nursery rhymes. Those things have helped them to remember all sorts of things. Review and summarize your notes. Use flashcards. They're great. A quick way for you to flash and see what terms are and to try and remember them. Like we said before, short, frequent sessions. Sleep and eat. You know I love to eat, so a study was done that said that if we eat more protein, it helps us to think better and helps us to continue to study with some more engagement. Also, break material into chunks. Don't try to remember everything. Break it into small chunks so that you can remember small sections and then move on to the next when you think you've got one mastered. And lastly, recite, rehearse, and write things over and over again as much as you can until you get it. The next and the last thing is mnemonics. And this is another way that you can study. Mnemonics, it's a weird word, right? But mnemonics are memory techniques that use vivid associations and acronyms to link new information to what you already know. So words like what we would use in English are fanboys, F-A-N-B-O-Y-S. That stands for, and, nor, but, or, yet, or so. I'll say it again, fanboys. It stands for, and, nor, but, or, yet, or so. So that's a way that we remember those coordinating conjunctions. You know, conjunction, junction, what's your function? So the way we remember those is by using the acronym FANBOYS. You could also do what they call a mental talk, which is reminding yourself through an imaginative journey about something. That one's a little different. But then you can also remember things through songs and rhymes. That's chapter 7.